Hi, today we're filming at the beautiful Taylor's Mistake here in Christchurch, and you'll probably see from time to time behind me some paragliders, and that's because we're talking about the very important topic today, or strategy, which is one of the key foundational strategies, which is the importance of leisure. Now, paragliding may not be your idea of leisure, it's certainly not mine, but whatever your idea of leisure is, I can guarantee you it's essential for your mental health. I used to think that leisure activities were kind of like an added extra and really weren't that important. However, over the years and through experience, I've changed my mind about that. I now see leisure activities as a very, very valued and important commodity in a person's well-being and positive mental health. So leisure, it's not an optional extra, it's an essential valued commodity, which is essential for our emotional and mental performance. Maintaining balance and keeping all the balls in the air and trying to keep your performance up in all the important areas of your life is incredibly difficult when all you ever do is get drained. That's why you need leisure activities to bring some input, to bring some balance, to bring some restoration and some strength to your life. All these pressures and all these obligations can bring a real drain to a person's life, and it can deplete us emotionally and mentally. When you think about your life, you have many emotional outgoings. You have pressure from work, you have pressure from home, you have pressure in relationships, you have obligations and responsibilities. But what are the things that actually emotionally give you energy, that restore your emotional well-being? We're a little bit like a car battery. You know, if you just continually drain a car battery, it'll eventually run out of juice and it'll go flat and it will stop working. We're a little bit like that too emotionally. We need input. We need continual input. We're definitely going to have continual drain. That's how a car battery works best, is when it's got continual drain and it's got continual input. And that's how we work best emotionally and psychologically, when we've got continual output, but we need continual input. And that's where most of us are a bit short. When a person's life is continually drained of input, emotional and psychological input, they invariably lose energy and function, and they become stressed and they become run down, and they often end up in burnout and even emotional breakdown. Leisure activities, therefore, should be viewed as the scarce, valued commodities that they are, essential elements that can bring energy and replenish us to cope with the drains and the pressures of this life. Now, when we can bring about a balance between work and play, and we can have good quality time with work and with play or leisure activities, that's when we're starting to live a balanced life, and that's when we will function and perform at our very best. Leisure activities tend to reduce your stress, and they help to rejuvenate your psychological and your emotional energy. Some people who are suffering from depression have been led there themselves under the conditions of too much pressure from too much work, and they have not been able to provide the important balance that would have saved them getting into trouble emotionally and mentally. Allowing your mind to relax and to calm through leisure activities will rejuvenate you, it will reset you, and it will give you the strength and resilience to cope with the pressures and the drains of this life. So how do we find this balance and increase our emotional input? Firstly, you need to identify what works for you. Leisure is unique, it's individual, and that's why it needs to be tailored to suit you. A good place to start is to think back and to think of times where you did things that made you feel good, that made you feel energized, that restored you, that made you feel calm, relaxed. These are the kind of things that you need as inputs in your life through leisure activities. Leisure activities can be anything. It doesn't really matter. It could be croquet, it could be paragliding, it could be surfing, it could be sailing, it could be a whole range of hobbies or activities. The important thing is, does it restore you? Does it make you feel good? Does it rejuvenate you? Does it give you energy? Is it relaxing and give you that sense of well-being? That's the critical thing, and that's why you should ask yourself that question. What are the things I've done in the past that have made me feel good? So the first strategy in building leisure into your life is to actually identify what are the things that help and restore my energy. What are the things that make me feel good? That's the first strategy. Get a pen and paper and write down anything that you've done in the past that you think could make you feel good, that has helped you, that's restored your energy levels. And if that doesn't work, think of what your friends and family are doing, and then write down some of those things and consider giving those a try with them. It's really, really important that you find what works for you. As I said earlier, paragliding's not my cup of tea. If I did this, I'd come away more stressed than when I started. But for some people, this works really well. Next strategy for building leisure into your life is to do it with other people. It's always much more enjoyable when you do things with others. So building this social component into your leisure activities will have a twofold benefit. One, you'll be getting the energy from the leisure activity, and two, you'll be enjoying the company of a friend. And that just enhances the experience and multiplies the amount of input that you can get out of it. So this is a very important strategy. Do leisure activities with other people, particularly close friends. Next strategy, you've heard this before, but it's so important. You must plan and schedule leisure activities. Now, as I said earlier, I used to think that leisure activities were an added extra. I don't anymore. They need to be planned in because life is so busy, life is so pressured, and if we don't balance the outputs and the inputs, we're going to find ourselves drained. So leisure's critical. Book it in, schedule it in, make it happen. If we looked at our lives like an emotional bank account, how would it look? Would it balance? Or would it be in the red? Would you be in debt? Or would you be even close to emotional bankruptcy? This is a good way to view it because this is really how it works in our life. Our life is like an emotional balance sheet. How's yours looking? Is it balanced? Are you in credit? Or are you in the red? Do you need to do something? Now would be a really good time to reflect on some of the strategies that we've talked about and using the lifestyle balance sheet in your workbook. Just identify anything that you think at the moment is not helping or not working in this area of leisure, and consider any of the things that we've talked about today that resonate with you that you think could be worth a try. So when considering leisure, some examples of things that could not be working or helping could be that a person is just simply not making enough time for leisure in their life. It could also be because they just don't consider leisure as that important. In terms of actions needed to improve things, they could change their belief system and choose to value leisure as essential in their life. They could also schedule leisure activities on a weekly basis. So that's just an example of how the lifestyle balance worksheet could be used for leisure. But you can write in now what is relevant to you and your situation. After you've done this, it would be also good to turn the page over and go to the wellbeing plan and actually write in times and what you'll be doing for leisure. This way we know it will happen. So in terms of the wellbeing plan, an example of how this might look for leisure activities is a person could choose a day and time for their leisure, which could be, say, on Saturday between 1 and 4, when they will go and do something that they love, like, say, fishing. They may also choose to have a movie night on Thursday evenings between 7 and 10. Now that's just an example of how it could be used. But now what's important is that you write in what is relevant to you and your situation for leisure. So that comes to the end of this very important strategy of leisure. I hope you see it differently now. Honestly, in all my work with people, this has been a critical learning. When people are not balanced with their input and their output, they get unwell. So it's critical that you have a balance between input and output, and leisure activities is one of the best ways of doing that. I wish you well. I hope that you can plan some leisure events. Go out there and enjoy life. After all, that's what it's about. Now, if you feel you need more than this program right now, you can call one of the numbers on the screen for someone to talk to.